Hello there, and welcome to Thank the Maker, a podcast about heroes, princesses, scoundrels, hokey religions, ancient weapons, and all things Star Wars. I'm Adam Russell.
I'm so happy to be here. My name's Nick Gambarian.
I, too, now that we are the Mortis gods, are very excited to be here. It's Mike Forster. What's up, dudes? What did we do here this week?
Ooh.
We
closed
just saw
out
some high-quality Star Wars.
Some high quality Star Wars. Wow.
You know what, I'll just say it. I hit that unfollow button on a couple people who were coming with the hate for this series because I don't have the space for that shit.
Still?
It's just that there's actually no winning. Just unfollow people. You know, you'd like to be able to. People don't have the internet to have their minds changed. It's ridiculous. No. If things like Andor and Ahsoka get hate, then have fun with the original trilogy. I don't know what to tell you. Go have fun with it. Go away.
Like I mean, they're like mutual follows. You know, people who make cool stuff that like went out of their way to make a post with a bunch of hater ass shit in like just a text post. What?
Nice.
What's the point?
Nice.
Talk to your other miserable friends about how you don't like it. Like, don't go out on the internet and spread this sucks. God, I'm sorry that I always talk about this, but it just it makes less and less sense the older I get. It's so dumb.
I don't care at all about that because this, in my opinion, was probably one of the coolest shows in regards to like how far this show punted Star Wars into the next, ready for this, faux pas, generation. Okay.
Yep.
Of what we're going to see, right? So we talked a little bit about this offline, but really what this show set up for us. And again, we've talked about this a little bit leading up to this finale, was people who did not follow live animated Star Wars. This has to have blown their mind in regards to being like, magic is a thing. We got Grand Admiral Thrawn. Like, who is this guy? We've never seen a blue guy before with red eyes. This is crazy. All of this, I think this really just celebrated everything that Dave has done with George. Clone Wars brought it all into live action. I feel like we have more questions than we do answers, which in my opinion is great because they did not leave this show with the intention of going, hey, were you satisfied? Probably weren't, because we're going to keep doing this. So my opinion, this rocked.
Yeah,
definitely. I could go either way. I'm interested to talk to people who I know don't know anything about Clone Wars or Rebels. I know we'll try to maybe potentially for next week find someone who hasn't seen them. And see how they felt about it. But I could see, especially this last episode with zombie stormtroopers, some people checking out, because if you only like the original trilogy, which is a vast majority of Star Wars people who say they like Star Wars, they might be a little turned off by witches and zombies. And some people are like, oh, just in time for Halloween, Disney, blah, blah, blah.
Honestly, that is an amazing crossover right there.
I'm like, oh my goodness.
Hey,
what are they making money off of right now? There's no toys in Target.
Right. Speaking of just in time for Halloween, I'm not going to say the thing that you would expect. I'm not going to complete the thought that you would expect when someone says, speaking of, but I will say to you guys offline, the amazing real idea that I had during a scene of this movie or of this show. I played back the music, on another tab. When I watched it, it is so good and so brilliant. If it doesn't get a couple 100,000 views, I quit social media. It is so good. I'll tell you about it when we're done. Don't let me forget to tell you.
Okay, we won't.
Okay, everyone else
next level.
Remind Adam.
It's up there with the Rihanna Palpatine one.
Yeah, but I'll give some people benefit of the doubt, and if they don't like the fantasy aspect that we're heading in because they feel like it's not Star Wars, then obviously they're not watching or up to date on animation. If they don't like it and they want to like talk shit about it, then that's another thing. Like, whatever. I did talk to one friend who I feel like could be pretty critical about some new Star Wars stuff. He watches it all, and he thought Balin was awesome. He was super. When I told him that those were the Mortis gods that he was standing on, he was like, that's badass. So, I think that there's going to be more people who hop on the train with this storyline more so than hopping off the train.
Adam,
Yeah, and it's finally
Adam, and wait. Are we online, or why are people texting me and saying, "Where are you guys online? Are we not on YouTube? What's going on?" I'm watching for us, but not on YouTube.
I mean, I'm looking at it streaming right here.
What the front door?
Bunch of concurrent viewers. Stream is live. Yeah, it's been going for 5.5 minutes.
What
Yeah.
What
They're on
the
drugs.
heck is going on?
Listen, we're boomers.
Wait,
They're
why does it not?
definitely boomers.
Actually, you know what? I'm over here on YouTube.com, and I'm only. Dude, it doesn't say that we're live. That's weird. Okay.
It's unlisted.
Link is unlisted. Did
Well,
we go?
let's change that right now.
Well.
It's just not showing up on the front page. Someone tell us how to do internet.
Hi.
Tell us how to do computer.
God, this is good stuff. This is high quality right here. Where do I change the?
Oh boy, I'm getting all. You know what? Here's what I do love.
No,
though.
here it goes. Public.
All right,
done.
let's go.
Save. That's us.
Restart. Okay, Finn, we get it.
Finn is dancing.
Like ooh la. Oh, here we go,
Oh, he's
dude.
still
We're
going.
here.
Yeah,
We're
dancing.
here.
Hey everyone,
here.
sorry I had the settings set as unlisted. First time YouTuber apparently. My name's Adam. I'm from Missouri.
Okay. Yes, that's right.
Nick. This is Nick Gambarian from Long Island.
Nick.
This
We
is Mike
are
Forster
all-
from the Great White North.
Hi.
We're
hello
all
there.
wearing the same shirt on purpose.
This is true. This is Finn from Orange County.
Finn. Where are you, big
Yeah,
boy?
knock it off, bud.
Come here.
Final thoughts on people who like it versus people who don't, and why. This is that classic thing of you give people what they want or what they claim to want. Turns out they don't want it. Everyone's like, I don't want to see the same old Skywalker saga thing. I want new stuff. I want different, wild, out of the box Star Wars stuff. This couldn't fit that description more perfectly. So maybe you
Agreed.
just aren't into Star Wars as much as you think you are or you were. If that's the case, that's all right.
If I was going to engage with people, I would say, what do you like? I want to know what you like, and talk to me for 30 minutes about what you like. I want to hear how you enjoy things.
Yeah.
I bet you I'd get nowhere, and it would be a waste of 30 minutes.
Yeah. You're probably right.
This is great.
All right.
This is great.
Well, let's do this. Let's talk about this show from the perspective of people who did like it and do enjoy all new Star Wars stuff because it's just fun and awesome. And do a little section called this.
What have you done with those plans?
Stolen Plans, the info. This is Ahsoka, Part 8, The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord, a.k.a. The Empire Strikes Back.
That is awesome. Thank you, C.S. Lewis. We appreciate you.
AKA, yeah, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
Got a little
Dude.
chuckle right away.
Yeah. Dude, am I wrong, though? Like, the way this ended, so melancholy, like, somber, a victory, but a defeat. It's so
The
Empire Strikes
sword,
Back.
I mean, all these things, dude. It was very good.
Yeah. I mean, the Empire truly did strike back in this. Anyway, debuted yesterday, October 3rd, 2023 on Disney+, written, of course, by Dave Filoni and directed by the dude himself, Rick Famuyiwa, director of many Mandalorian episodes, and also the executive producer of Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Now a huge part of this era of Star Wars, and I'm here for it. Dude's
Agreed.
great.
Yep, he's awesome.
Crushes with the action.
I think that they know that too. They made him executive producer for Season 3, and then he gets to actually direct the finale of this season.
Yeah.
So
Talented
man,
man.
a lot of trust in him.
Let's see. Disney Plus description was heroes race to prevent Grand Admiral Thrawn's escape. Spoiler, they did not.
Sure about that.
We tried though.
sure
It
about
was
that?
actually super epic trying. It was amazing. Yeah. Really
I have
tried.
some like real anxiety about them being in a different galaxy and being stranded. And they're just like, oh yeah, Ezra got home. I'm like,
I do
wait,
too, but-
you're stuck. Like you're gonna have to hang out with Lil Nody anymore. I'm apparently they're called Nody, so I'm gonna stop calling them Little Naughty, even though
Okay.
that sounds way more hip hop. Lil Nody.
It's sick though, little naughty.
Yeah. Or we could just say Lil Naughty. It's fine. But yeah, there's something that gives me a lot of anxiety. It's not like it's even Mos Eisley or like Mos Espa. It's just land, like they're just out there. I'm like, this is giving me anxiety. I'm glad they're okay though.
Hey, I'm glad you ladies are feeling great about your situation. You got your little tribe. You got your little Fifth Element shell home looking things.
Yeah.
Everything's good. Let's see. No cast to add to this, starring everyone. Runtime 49 minutes. I will say last thing on we've talked over and over about Kevin Kiner scoring this. There was a big feature in, I forgot which publication, about Kiner and his kids scoring as a family, and then there was a great Kiner Music is their Instagram handle, right? Yeah. The siblings of them with Kevin, their dad, playing Balin's theme, and Kevin's got this medieval looking cello. Did you see that clip?
Yeah, it's dope.
Oh God! And one of them's playing a flute, the other's playing the piano. It's so sick. I just got goosebumps. It's so good. I just want to hang out in that house and just watch them cook.
Did you hear? I know the answer to this, but I'm going to say it so we have it recorded. They tweeted that there's a little nod to a Rebels theme in episode 8.
A deep cut, apparently, right?
I didn't hear it. Yeah, I didn't hear it. And what could it possibly be? Like a Night Sister? Was it like, I didn't hear anything when
Talzin?
The Blade of Talzin. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear anything.
Was it a Kanan piece?
Yeah, it could be Kanan, but that's not a deep cut though, like that's Kanan.
Oh, was it Bendu? Maybe?
Ooh,
did anyone catch it?
Kanan Jaws!
Patrons in the stream chat, if anyone noticed that.
Please
I've only watched Rebels all the way through once, and then a handful of episodes here and there, so I'm not like as dialed into it as I am the Clone Wars, so I'm not the one to pick this up, but somebody let us know in the comments of this video or in Discord. All right. They made it. They said it. We did reactions yesterday. We've been reacting a little bit. All caps. Anakin Force Ghost. Oh, Nick, go ahead. Sorry.
I thought it was awesome. I would say that if episode 5, 6, and 7 are like 10 out of 10, which I think this is like a 9.7.
Yeah.
I think those episodes are a little bit better. I thought it was awesome. I love getting even more questions. I didn't really notice that Baylan and Shin weren't in the episode because it was just so rockin'. And then they just did their little bits of where they're going for next season. And I'm just still so intrigued by Baylan. There's no way you could just write that story out. There's just no way. It has to be recast.
Yeah.
That's it. I'll do it if you need me, Filoni. I will you won't even have to I'll make all this gray naturally. I'll just stress myself out.
That's good. That's really good.
I'll just go to the DMV every day for the next year.
I'll do it. Sign me up.
Did anyone see the Photoshop job? The kind of it wasn't a deep fake, but it was.
Is that what I sent it over?
Yeah.
Oh, you sent it to the group, yeah. Of what's his name?
Liev Schreiber.
Yeah.
Tracks.
A little bit different forehead, but dude.
Yeah, it tracks.
To me, it's just about the acting chops. The actual portrayal needs to be there. It doesn't necessarily have to be like his face on. It doesn't have to be exactly that. But yeah, whatever. I'm not trying to fan cast people, but that works. We need it. It seems like it's such a. I love Filoni just being like, here's this Ahsoka show with all these rebels and all this stuff, and everyone's just like, yeah, but Baylan, good job, dude. You put Baylan in the show. That's sick.
That's awesome, dude. Thank you so much for that. He's amazing. Yeah, this is a great new character.
Yeah, there's no getting around the fact that this show set up something massive that he's absolutely at the center of, and who knows what the hell Shin's getting up to. We'll maybe speculate on that later. But let's go back to the top. The first main thing of note, Morgan Elsbeth becoming an official Night Sister. The Great Mother's casting the spell, doing the enchantment thing, the green glowing eyes, the face markings.
That's what it was called.
Yes.
of shadows.
Some gift, some would call it disfigurement, but apparently she had powers for a minute. It looked so good though. Did you notice? Did you guys watch it with subtitles the first or second time?
Yes.
Did you catch that they spelled Magics Majiks?
Yeah,
That's how it's pronounced in that's how it's spelled in Clone Wars.
Dude, I checked Wikipedia. The canon spelling is Magicks.
And the other time that Thrawn said it, a couple of episodes ago, it was spelled Magicks. So I don't know where there's two.
It's got to be a typo.
It's got to be Mark the Intern. He strikes back.
Yeah.
He's also doing the subtitles, which we appreciate. Thank you, Mark.
It'll be interesting to see if they correct it, because they've done little bits and pieces here and there over time. And again, that's just subtitles, so it's whatever. Let's see. There's something specific while we're on the subject of Morgan and the Night Sisters that I noticed, and I only noticed these things with this degree of understanding because of the Corridor Crew visual effects breakdowns. In the past, I would have just been like, that looks kind of weird. I don't know why. But did you guys notice that all of the green flames, whether when they're casting the spells or, on the sword or even on Morgan's eyes, that it doesn't cast any ambient light? It doesn't illuminate the area like the lightsabers do, like the blasters do and everything. Did you guys notice that?
Old school Star Wars?
Yeah, I mean...
I have a thought that I tried to verify. You guys...
Well, do you think that it's just that in this new era of Star Wars, lightsabers are a source of light, and this was clearly like a digital effect?
Original Star Wars?
Well, all the blaster bolts, as they pass through a room, they digitally light the environment. Where it's hit somebody, there's sparks, they add all those elements. Those are all added digitally. So it's either, they get practicals in there when they can, and they add it when they can't. So I asked someone who knows things, knows things directly about this kind of stuff in these Disney productions. My thought was, Filoni has such an attention to detail that couldn't have been like a back burner, we don't have time or money to finish it kind of thing. It had to be a choice. And my interpretation was, it's called the Gift of Shadows. This is dark magic. So imagine like a flame that doesn't illuminate the area because it's dark in its nature.
I like it.
Certain people can see it.
Yeah, or it's like sucking. It's literally, it's almost like a black hole. It's like sucking the light out of.
Like a metaphysical thing. Ooh.
Yeah, because like even the Darksaber illuminates the area, but this dark magic, dark side dark side of the Force in action doesn't illuminate.
Love it.
I don't know. I thought it was cool. It's probably going to look weird to some people, and I'm waiting to see if Corridor Crew does a breakdown and they point this out, and if they have the same interpretation.
It's interesting. Okay,
it's pretty cool. Blade of Talzin, awesome. Thought this was the first time. Turns out it wasn't. We'll talk about that later. There's a great. This should almost be a Den thing, but there was a great. That great conversation between Ezra and Hu Yang when Ezra's building the lightsaber. And, Ezra doesn't know anything about Hu Yang. He's learning in the moment. But he's been around forever. He helped all these other Jedi build their lightsabers. Yeah, I knew Kanan Jarrus. Clever boy, Caleb was. So is that the first time in this show that Kanan was referred to as Caleb? Because it's only been a couple mentions, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In
this
live
show,
action? 100%.
Yeah, so that's a deep cut. Well, not a deep cut, but that's off the menu for folks who haven't watched animation. To explain, Kanan Jarrus is the pseudonym, like the name that
his hiding name.
Exactly. Post Order 66, he changed his name to Kanan Jarrus to hide from the Empire because Caleb Dume, D-U-M-E, his given name that would have been in the Jedi archives would have given him away. So
he should have just called himself Ben Doom.
Yeah.
Come on. Honestly, that's awesome. I wish I would have thought of that. That's hilarious.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ben Kenobi. It's like, who's that?
Nice.
Never heard of
Ben
him.
Doom. Ben Doom.
Old Ben
Do I
Ben
not?
Doom.
Wonder if he means old Ben Doom.
I'm laughing at that, Nick. That's very funny. That's very funny. Did you guys look on the table?
I looked all over that thing, but
And
I
see
need
the
to
other
go back.
parts. Did you see the old grenade style handle? There?
No. I need.
Pretty
Okay.
Pretty sweet.
I can't wait for parts of Star Wars to call out every single different type of drawer and shelf and storage unit in that thing, so I can go buy every one of them and convert my whole garage to that, just exactly as it is, and keep those lightsaber parts.
I feel like Finn is moving my camera. I don't know.
Finn,
Maybe I'm
please.
like we're straight off of Starcruiser, but did not like the orange in that
Oh yeah,
kind of hallway just remind you of Starcruiser?
yeah, 25,000 years old. Got to.
Yeah, I think I want one. I'd like one.
Yeah. It's It also it reminded me of Adam Savage's shop, because there's like a collection of different types of storage, like the kind of thing that gets added to over time as needed. And the way he builds new storage, like literally builds new storage for his shop. It's like, well, I need something that fits here, that does this, that has these features. And of course, that's something that you would put in a ship or in a place that you've been using for years and years and years. And I don't know. I think it's such like it was probably such a meta build for the team, for a bunch of makers to make a maker space in Star Wars, So sick. You could do a whole Armor Party episode on that hallway.
Probably. I feel like I have to do one on this episode.
Yeah.
The show.
You should do yeah. You should do episodes like on different series and their styles.
Their particular peoples who worked on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Or we should just do a new episode at all. What do you say?
Okay, yeah, I heard what you're saying.
Yeah, shots fired.
Yeah,
Good
nice.
for me. So
Business idea starting tomorrow. Why not just make Savvy's workshop Hu Yang's workshop? Boom. Come on, hire me.
Wow.
Hire me.
Flip it.
Fight.
All right. So confirmed, pretty much. I'm going to say confirmed. Like we kind of called this. The quote from Hu Yang explaining why, he's talking to Ezra about what happened between Sabine and Ahsoka. And well, we basically said this, right? That Ahsoka was afraid to train Sabine because, well, he says he was afraid Sabine was training to be a Jedi for the wrong reasons after what happened on Mandalore. Like she was doing it. She was afraid she was doing it to get power to then go get revenge, which I think is like such a great way to handle that whole thing and like add so much depth and brutal emotional weight to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wonder if that could have been. Love the idea. I wonder if it could have been a moment between not Hu Yang and Ezra, though. You know what I mean? Maybe that would have at least involved Ahsoka, or wait, was it? It was Ezra and Hu Yang, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
and Sabine was at the end of the hallway overhearing some of the stuff.
But
if
if was gone by then,
Yeah.
If we go back to Crow Nest, though, was Ezra with Sabine when like Art Saxon they do all that, or was that just Sabine and Ahsoka by themselves?
I don't think
remember.
he was there.
Okay, so I think this is kind of one of those same things that we're like, we get that exposition in The Mandalorian where Bo-Katan talks about, this is what happened to our planet. We didn't get a flashback, which I always think is like, that's like Filoni's thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was really shocked for that we got that reminder, yet still the only visuals that we have of it is like the Judgment Day style visuals that we got from when we saw it originally in the Mando, right? So like I'm that was probably one thing I was like, that probably would have been really impactful for people that don't know that there were, that Sabine's parents had this, like, of course, I also just want to see their armor live action. I'm a sucker for it. Okay?
Yeah.
But I think there was certainly something to show, and I get it. Their home base is in a completely different planet. all of this stuff, like I get it, but I thought that would have been powerful to see that, and I agree. You know, Hu Yang telling Ezra that, Ezra also going back and kind of thinking like, you know, what exactly did I miss? And he's kind of getting caught up on literally everything, which I think is important too. So, you know, it's okay.
I'm just waiting for the meme that has like, what did I miss? There's one line of dialogue here, and the next panel is a list like this, just covering the whole graphic.
Yeah. What did you miss? This.
Do you also think that Hu Yang roasting, now that we've seen Sabine use the Force successfully, like 3 times in this, I think we counted, and we'll talk about that in a minute, was him roasting her about being the least talented, least naturally talented and qualified Jedi he's ever seen, like a Matrix Oracle style, telling her what she needs to hear kind of thing?
Ooh.
You know, remember that? It's like, sorry, you're not the one, kid. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah.
Psyching herself up.
Yeah.
I mean, I like his personality in general. I don't know if that's a teaching protocol on his behalf, but I mean, Tactics. It works. Because think about this too. She needed to be choked out to use the Force, so she's coming from a different learning
We're not
tactics
shaming anybody for what they're into.
No, well, okay, so let's talk about that now. So she uses the Force when she needs to. She pulls the saber, Luke style.
Very cool.
And then uses it after for the jump boost. But did you notice as they were riding in on the Howlers, Ahsoka says, "Sabine, help us," to open the door, and she reaches out with them, the 3 of them.
Yep.
Is that just like a give it a shot, kid? We know you can't do anything.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know how this is possible because they literally tried to like leave crumbs of her using the Force for 7 episodes. But then when she finally did it, I was just like, no, it's too much. You know, it was like, it was just like, I got this, I got the door, I'm throwing you. I was like, no, it's too much. You didn't have, you weren't able to use it 10 minutes ago at all. Sure. And now but that's also very Luke Skywalker, I guess, right?
Yeah. She broke this. She broke the seal. You know?
Yeah. That's what it was. There was a blockage.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's right. It turns out it's just a force kidney stone.
Yeah, peed out the stone.
I think there would have been some. I think there would have been some benefit to understanding that her Vizsla line is Legacy Mandalorian, Legacy Jedi, right? Like I think that there could have been something to kind of explain to the more casual viewers that don't know that her bloodline quite literally goes back to the peak of what made the Mandalorians who they are and what made the Jedi what they were and why Tar Vizsla was so important. So I think in that regard, that's kind of one of those things where you look at and you go, how long are each of these episodes? I'm sure at some point, Filoni being Filoni was probably like, oh, we should probably do this. And they looked at the budget and said, listen, if it's not in here, this whole show is a budget supreme. You know, do you want to see the Chimera, or do you want to get more of the Chimera, or do you want to show Tar Vizsla in a flashback? He was like, I'd rather show everything on Ryloth. I'd rather show Captain Rex. I'd rather show all these things. So I'm sure at some point that was brought up to maybe explain a little bit of her lineage. But honestly, it's one of those things. It's a Star Wars thing. It tracks. We know the background of her family. We know that the Vizsla name carries a lot of weight. We look at Paz Vizsla. We look at everything going through. It makes sense.
Yeah. Let's move back to the Night Sisters, or the Night Troopers in this case. The sacrifice. So it half answers, half validates, half nullifies our suspicions that all of the troopers were reanimated dead troopers. There's the moment where Thrawn says, you know, are they ready, or do they know what they're getting into, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And Morgan says, yes, they all volunteered to make the sacrifice. So they know that they're going to be put in danger and could die, and then would be reanimated. So that, like, if none of them were dead yet, except for some that we'll talk about in a minute. To me, that makes it seem like with all the wrappings, all the red stuff and all the gold, that yes, they're Imperial stormtroopers, but they're like as dedicated to the Night Sisters and
Sure.
whatever life they've experienced in the past however many years as they are to the Empire. You know what I mean? Just by like donning those uniforms and
Sure.
being willing to do that, they weren't just Thrawn's Imperial stormtroopers anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think there is that idea of like Thrawn being incredibly tactical, of saying the best advantage is to take advantage of the resource that you have, right? And so he understands that he's kind of sold us on this idea of being like, commit to me. And if you're dedicated to the idea that we could be an unstoppable force, there is something. I mean, it's not unlike in history of how many, the medicines and all the stuff that like some of these, or the same thing of getting high as hell, because if you died in combat, you would go to Valhalla, right? This was like a Viking mindset of like just getting zonked out of your mind and going into battle high as hell, and assuming that like this was going to be the ultimate way of proving yourself, right? So we have seen this in history. It totally tracks. And I think the idea, because I think we talked about this, like if the certain sect, we were wondering if like they had already been resurrected, but I think you're right. This does confirm that, there was the contingency plan was that they could be reanimated and brought back. So they kind of just were probably just literally messed up from the flight originally from the Purgil and
the crash.
Like,
yeah,
exactly. Let's put them all together. So,
okay. So this leads me to Stacey Leanne actually just said something great in the chat. I was assuming these are all dead Night Sisters in the hundreds and hundreds or thousands of coffins that we see, the cargo that they've been loading, right?
There's so many more than I thought.
Yeah.
That shot was...
Stacey said in the patron chat, I'm still thinking the cargo is dead Dathomirians, both Night Sisters and Zabraks.
I like that. I mean, there
Same.
is something... There is something about getting back to, we know that the Zabraks were an incredibly powerful warrior race. We know that Dathomir has a magical quality to it, a mystical quality to it. There is like natural, I mean, we see that in the burial pods in Fallen Order. There is a very, like, this reanimation idea is not new to Star Wars if you've been following along to various medias. So this idea of almost like resurrecting an undead army is actually pretty Star Wars in many cases.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah.
Nice. Somehow our entire army returned.
And it's specifically very Star Wars in a way that we will talk about in the Den of Antiquities, which I think we've already mentioned, but now more than ever, this seems to be the reference. Some of the troopers, though, the Night Death Troopers.
Nice.
So the Death Trooper helmets that we first saw in Rogue One,
right?
The pair of them that were part of, the last two standing, the very last battle on that kind of landing platform. I think it was Sabine had. I think it was when she pulled the saber, did the force pull. The one was holding her up, and you could see the bottom of the mask opening up, and the face was rotted like that dude had been dead for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe just a combination of both. Some still living, some that have
vaguely
been dead for a while.
remember them in the finale of Rebels. Did Thrawn have Death Troopers?
Yes.
I mean, he must have, but they were shown in Rebels, right?
Yeah, that became they became kind of like after Rogue One, they fast tracked a lot of that design into, if you were somewhat elite within the Empire, you had an escort of Death Troopers for sure.
High-ranking officers, you're saying?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is.
Can I just throw? Go ahead. I'm going to change the subject for a second.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah. Change it on me.
I'm just going to throw, just for fun, because there was a lot of those coffin things. Just for fun. Makes no sense considering they're going to Dathomir or whatever. What about the Sith Eternal?
Dude, I've been wondering about that too. But how do you get...
I don't know. I'm just thinking of where this is going and some stuff that needs to be
Dude.
led to, because there were so many of them that I'm like, where did the Sith Eternal come from? First of all, somehow Palpatine returned, somehow the Sith Eternal exist. I don't know.
Dude, okay,
But,
this actually makes a lot of sense because I was questioning. I was like, they're not going to just be like, well, we're done being Night Sisters. We'll just be Sith Eternal now. But there is a history of Dathomir going the Sith route with Asajj Ventress, with of course, with Darth Maul and his brother Savage Opress. So that's totally plausible. Now that you say it again,
it would make things. I know we're kind of now juggling two different things where the Bad Batch and Mandalorian have introduced a lot of cloning stuff, but now we're introducing the other thing that Poe Dameron says, like in that sentence, which is like dark magic. So why can't it be both? Like we're leading to this thing. So I don't know. Could be something there.
I think it's cool. And the number of coffins or containers, whatever, that's not quite like a full Coliseum full of Sith Eternal, but that's a pretty healthy start. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I back it. As a sequels fan,
fun.
I back it.
Just for fun, Have a little fun.
Yeah. Why not a little fun every once in a while?
Good one. Good one.
Let's see. Talked about Sabine already. Okay. Is there more to this than when I'm off the top of my head thinking Thrawn talking about predicting Ahsoka's tactics based on what Anakin would have done, and then he says, quote, "One wonders how similar you might become. Perhaps this is where a Ronin such as you belongs." Is he talking about going down the dark path?
I think he means Peridia, like stay away from everybody if you're gonna go down the Darth path, like the dark side.
Right.
That's how I took it. This is where Ronin, because Ronin means like wanderer, kind of, right?
Like a rogue, rogue samurai, yeah.
So if you're gonna be a menace, then do it here, because there's nothing here. That's kind of how I understood it.
Or are there, or because of the Mortis monuments that we see and whatever is stirring there, as Balin referred to it, is this a spot where she's more susceptible to that? So it's a little bit of both. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot.
Some
our friends
in a balanced way, kind of. Is that what you mean?
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm also like getting on the Night Sister comment about waking the Great Mothers.
Oh yeah.
Our friends.
We skipped over that.
Our friends in Heroes of the Halcyon commented over on YouTube, and I'm like, I like this. Thrawn woke the Night Sisters. They're in debt to him. So whatever that, if that was reawaking or however he knew to do that, right? Now, Thrawn is a pretty, I don't know, like he's advantageous, right? He knows that like studying cultures gives you power to understand things that might not seem to make sense, right? So either he has been looking through the archives of what the Empire has, he's been learning about the tactics of, how did Mandalore fall, like all of these things, understanding really what Dathomir is, what happened to Dooku, all of this stuff. So for him to wake the Night Sisters is not out of the, like that's a very Thrawn thing to do, to take advantage of the fact that he has this opportunity. But our friends in Heroes of the Halcyon were like, could they be coffins, almost like sleep chambers, almost like carbonite? Like they're not actually dead, but they're just waiting to be awakened, and they've been stored there for something, say, like this, which I kind of like. I dig it.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Do
you think that tech, whatever they're using, doesn't seem like it's native to Peridia, though? So
I don't think so. I don't think there's much. I don't think there's much tech. I think it's all. I mean, tech maybe in like a Marvel, like Thor sense, where like technologies, going back to the Arthur C. Clarke quote, technology, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. So it could be like this combination of both and the Force, and yeah, but nonetheless not from this freaking wasteland. It's something else.
Yeah. Also, shout
That's
out
really
Heroes
interesting.
of the Halcyon. Great party Saturday night.
Was it fun? Did you guys have so much fun?
Great
Hondo
party.
wasn't there.
Man.
Great folks, those people. All right, let's talk about Shin and Balin. So very, very brief moment with Shin.
Boy.
She finds the bandits, rolls up on her howler, raises her saber.
It's very like, I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Join me or die.
Yeah. That was the only interpretation I got out of it too. They kind of came out of their tents like,
Okay.
excuse me?
Yeah, we're in.
But the face she has is like desperation. So is this I will join you? I mean,
So
unanswerable questions at this point.
Well, hang on. So let's come back to, there's a couple of interesting things that are happening all at the same time at this point, right? Now, I know that everyone will get to the point of Anakin being there, and the what does she say? Shimmers in the sky or whatever, right? A lot of people obviously are very moved by that. Anakin's Force Ghost staying with her, but like the Shin and Balin thing, I think is probably one of the most important things for us to look at where we go moving forward. So the things that some people seem to miss was that there's two Mortis gods, Father and the Son, right? Son representing the dive into evil, daughter representing good, the father representing this balance in between. The daughter is gone, but Mirai was there. Ahsoka's representative convoy that also showed up to Anakin on the crash planet, with kind of letting her, almost kind of like reminding Anakin that like there is possibly good in him, all of this stuff, right? So if we look at the idea, now Balin is also wearing this white shawl, right? That's important too, in my opinion, right? That's Filoni's not doing anything, just be like, oh, it looks cool, put it on him. So the daughter not being there as part of it, and cracked and destroyed because she's dead, right? But the father, correct me if I'm wrong, is pointing to something. Yeah, the hand is out, it's pointing to something,
pointing to that light flashing across the mountain range,
right? So the idea could be two things. Abeloth is an EU thing, which is a very Filoni thing. Abeloth represented the mother, right? Father, mother, son, daughter, who was a human who just basically got almost there's Greek mythology that I'm sure I'm missing, but the point is that human touches the gift of a god and loses herself to this demise that becomes a banishable thing. That's the mother. She's super messed up in the way that she's described.
Is it some dark side stuff or what?
It's very dark side. She's gross. Okay. She's slimy. She looks like ghastly. It will be very unsettling to see it in Star Wars. Now there's two things. Balin, like Shin has always been very interested in this idea. Like, do you miss the order? She seems to be questioning her loneliness. She's always been looking for something, like, we're going to do something together. And Balin's like, yo, I'm out. And she feels abandoned. Makes sense that she would show up to the raiders, to the bandits, and say, I need a crew. This is like, I need family. I need this idea of being together. So the idea is like, is she going to beat Balin? Is she going to be Balin to what he's seeking? Could Shin become the mother? Could she get to the pool of knowledge before Balin does? Because Balin is looking for the pool of knowledge to defeat the idea of just Sith and the light and the dark, right? In this cyclical thing. I don't know. We don't speculate, but it's interesting. It's super interesting.
I like it. I think that if the Mortis gods are going to be like replaced somehow, they should be characters we have known for more than, a season. I like that idea.
But the idea is this, that like Ahsoka has become the daughter.
Anakin has become maybe the father.
Yeah. I go that route, but that's still only 2/3, and I don't know who would be the son.
But isn't that the point?
Yeah.
That's
someone's gonna have to.
Balin and
Yeah.
Shin are
Uh-huh.
are the two wolves that perpetually chase the sun. That's what is sun
Yeah.
and night. So the idea that he's chasing, they're both chasing each other, is that someone's going to get to the sun first. Or is the son calling to Balin to do the same thing that the daughter did to Ahsoka?
Yeah, or like the son tempted Anakin. Like
Right.
you're saying SON, and then there's also the SUN, chasing the sun. Like it's the
Correct.
Norse, mythological explanation of night and day, right? Is what you were getting at?
Yep.
Yeah.
Woo! We're getting
There's
into
enough
something there.
opportunity there for those roles to be filled and for shit to go wild.
Man, this is Star Wars, right? This is just laser swords and TIE fighters.
I mean,
Nick, are you buying this?
It would be cool to me if season 2, which there has to be a season 2, because I still think a movie like this movie culminating everything is years away. If we're doing another Mando season, another Ahsoka season, like the movie has to kind of end it, so that's years away. It would be pretty cool if, I know I texted you guys today because either I forgot or we haven't really talked about the fact that Thrawn is now in the galaxy, like the Skywalker saga galaxy, and Din Djarin's just sitting there with his feet up right now, and we were like, "What? That seems like it's the end of the series, kind of. We know it's not. What does he have to do anymore?" Well, Thrawn just showed up, so Thrawn's the big bad of season 4 of Mando, and really just the entire Mandoverse now. It would be cool if season 2 of Ahsoka is way more fantasy, way more mystical, way more Mortis, father, son, daughter, mother, Ahsoka, all this stuff. So I guess there's a possibility there, like I don't know. It seems like Ahsoka and Sabine probably want to get back to the galaxy, but
I think that the story arc, of course. Well, I don't know. I'm saying of course as if like I feel like we had talked about this before, but I don't. Oh man, I'm trying so hard not to like go back to this, but like Thrawn is Thanos. That was the idea, right? The idea that like we needed a reason to bring Boba, Din,
A unifying threat.
Bo-Katan,
Yeah.
a threat that truly throws everyone into peril of understanding that like everyone's got to team up. We have our own individual skills. I want to see Boba.
Fire.
Yeah, I want to see Boba riding the Rancor, just eating night troopers. I want to see
Avengers assemble.
100%. So I think, and we've talked about this too. I actually want to find this episode because we had talked about speculation when Ahsoka as a show was announced, and we were either trying to figure out if like Thrawn started the First Order or if the First Order started because of Thrawn's failure.
Yeah, like in the vacuum.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm with you, Nick. Like, this show needs like season 2 production. Does it start tomorrow? To start next week? Like, let's get it going.
I don't see how anything happens before Celebration 2025.
Yeah. I mean, it
Especially
hasn't
with the strike.
The series hasn't even been ordered yet by Disney, apparently, from all reports. So I think, your point about Thrawn being the big bad in Mando season 4 has to be the next logical step. And then maybe we get another season between that and the movie, or we don't. Like, who knows?
That seems so insane. Why I think there has to be, I think even one more season's not enough, but whatever. Because what's a movie going to be? 2.5 hours? That's 3 episodes of the show, basically. Like, that's not enough with how slow, like methodically slow this show has been. You can't just Rise of Skywalker it and have it be 2 hours and 15 minutes and be like, boom, boom, boom. Bam,
Yeah,
bam, bam.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Here's the question, though.
Man.
Do Sabine and Ahsoka stay on Peridia? So they're stranded there. She says Ezra is where he needs to be, and so are we. It's time to move on. Are they there until after the sequel trilogy?
Yeah, that's one thing I've thought of in a sense of kind of what I just said. Thrawn's going to Mando season 4, Ahsoka and Sabine are here for season 2 and doing fantasy stuff with Mortis. Could be, really could be.
Yeah, I mean they have enemies there to fight. You know, it's not like it. You know, it's not like Ahsoka season 2 would just be about like the trials and tribulations of camping. Like there's stuff to do there. So yeah, give me 5 more seasons of it. I'm in. All right,
I
so that's
think
Go
I'm
ahead.
just saying, like, if we look at the line of where we're at, like, I think at some point, I think when some of the, I think what we lost some momentum in Mando season 3 was that we had kind of started hitting the same beats, right? Like, I think that's what like seems to be some of the grumble of this season was like we, and I kind of said it last week, or I think I said it offline, was like someone's probably got to get it right. That was the whole idea was in Infinity War. Thanos was just murking people left and right, and it showed that he was truly a threat. And so I think what we have to look at is now when Thrawn arrives in the galaxy, in the Outer Rim, the idea that he could get to the core worlds very easily, which is something that he knows well too, right? At this point that he left, the Empire had access to all of this. So it will be interesting to see exactly how we reestablish. Mon Mothma is shaking in her laurels over the fact that Thrawn, the possibility of Thrawn returning, had her extremely shook. Now he's close enough that they can find him again. I'm sure there's going to be some idea of setting up the idea that like Thrawn, it's not just a distant echo. It is like Thrawn is back. So if that takes a whole season to do that, might be a little dry, might be to that point where we're kind of like, are we getting all the way to the end where we're like Gideon at the end of season 3? Or are we like season 2, episode 1, Thrawn shows up, wrecks a planet that we know well and love? How do we do this? How do we pace this? That's what I'm wondering.
Mm-hmm. I would say also a reason why she is so terrified. I believe Mon Mothma is responsible for sort of disarming the New Republic. Like I can't remember if it's in Bloodline or I haven't read every book obviously, but it's in one of the books that I read post Return of the Jedi that she, in order to keep like the galaxy more peaceful, kind of has like a lower end military, like kind of mostly disarmed the New Republic. So they're just going to get obliterated, which
the
makes things
resistance
easier.
The resistance is her like her street team.
Yeah, and Leia's already in charge of defense, so she's just going to wind up leaving the New Republic and leading the resistance.
Right.
So yeah, that's, of course she's going to be. Also, she knows Thrawn just from to us, Mon Mothma knows how dangerous Thrawn is just from Rebels.
Yeah. It obviously doesn't go well. We know that. And Thrawn gets to Dathomir, right? So they go straight to God. And can we just talk about that shot for a few seconds of the Eye of Sion approaching Dathomir? The symmetry, how it right when it cuts, it's perfectly
so good.
within. Like
I was waiting for it, like the Office scene where they're in the meeting waiting for the screensaver to hit the corner correctly.
Yeah.
Like, where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Oh, I didn't take the time to look at the map, but Dathomir's in the Outer Rim. It's not outer rim. I mean, it's nearer than Yavin. It's not far from Mandalore, but I don't remember which direction Peridia is. So this is all to say, like, if they went directly there, how and when did Ezra escape in the stolen ship and get back to the fleet? Where is the fleet? Interesting.
Somehow Ezra returned.
He makes it home, gets off the ship.
You're like, dude,
Great
just
moment.
take the helmet off, man.
Yeah.
It's so dramatic. Gets off.
I thought it was awesome how Chopper recognized him, though. Yeah. Oh, dude, sorry. Let's skip back.
Nope.
We've talked enough about that. There's not much to say. The Anakin Force Ghost. Did Ahsoka even see him? the face she was making did not look like she saw him. Like she suspected it.
I got that too. That was kind of my sense. It's like Sabine straight up didn't see it.
She saw something.
Ahsoka felt something.
Mm-hmm.
But Anakin is like,
yeah, I'm
watching over
confused.
you.
I don't know if she saw it, felt it. It's, if anything, maybe more of a feeling, but also his look was like barely approving, you know, like it was pretty stoic at first, and then there's like maybe a little like approval look towards the end.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think
that could have been more clear, that ending.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was purposely not clear. I think it was purposely ambiguous and unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it really makes sense. It really lines up with this idea that he is going to become one of the Mortis gods. You think about everything that was revealed to him in that arc, all the ambiguity of the world between world stuff in this series. Ahsoka's...
He is the chosen one.
He
can't be more chosen one than being the father.
And there was that great quote earlier where it was Ahsoka talking about how Anakin always stood by her side, and she was saying it to tell Sabine like my master stood by my side, I will stand by yours.
Before the Sabine fake out,
right,
of her leaving, which I like.
But I think there are layers to that.
There was also, I don't know if this is some.
Oh, dude, sorry.
Yes.
Stand by one another's sides forever in Mortis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Love
Carry
it.
on.
Love
That's
it.
as far as I'll go with that.
I don't know if this is some sort of foreshadowing to go against everything I've said of them staying on Peridia, basically. While they're looking out, you see the ring of dead Purgle, and I'm just wondering why is that just a nice visual shot, or is that more like, hey, remember the Purgle? Like if you're worried about them being stuck on this planet, remember the Purgle.
Yeah, I kept checking the time to see if they were going to have enough time to snag a Purgle ride back before the thing was over. What an ending, though. What an ending. Like bittersweet, somber, triumphant, yet lonely,
So lonely. Peridia makes me so lonely. I don't like it. I don't like Peridia. It gives me the creeps.
I don't like it, but I love what old Dave did. Shouts to Dave. All right. We're already approaching an hour, so let's go ahead and do the den.
For over 1,000 generations.
It is the Darksaber.
Tosche.
It's a Kalikori.
A Sith wayfinder.
Dark science. Cloning. Secrets only the Sith knew.
Nicholas, what do you have for us today?
Hello. I got some good stuff. One of these moments, Leo meme moments, when Ezra is building the lightsaber with Huyang tries to give him a piece. Ezra says the blade emitter is too narrow. This seems like a fourth wall breaking nod to the fact that the lightsaber blades in Rebels were narrower than live action, and everyone complained about it.
Yeah.
The toothpicks.
At least brought,
the lightning toothpicks.
Yeah.
Hey, they were actually like pretty close to the original lightsabers when they were just using like some of the shots with the reflective sticks.
Right.
That has to be
very pokey. Very pokey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. More saber/sword stuff. The Blade of Talzin was first seen in the Clone Wars Season 6, Episode 9, when Mother Talzin used it in a duel against Mace Windu. So, yeah, that's... I want to say, like, the hilt is different now. The hilt almost looked like it could be a lightsaber hilt in this show. It was a little bit more, like, archaic in the Clone Wars.
Add that to my list of things that I want to build that I'll never build.
Put whatever you want on it, man, if you're never going to build it. Okay, so moving on, more Night Sister stuff. The creed that is spoken to Morgan Elsbeth when she becomes a Night Sister is the same one spoken to Ventress by the Night Sisters in the Clone Wars.
I love that they actually subtitled it. It said alien language, and I was like, oh, come on. And then it did it.
Now more than ever, the reanimated troopers seem like an homage to the 2009 novel, which is now legend, called Death Troopers, where a deadly disease turns a ship full of Imperials into zombies, actual zombies. So it exists. This isn't Disney as much as you want to ham fist your idea into all of this. This isn't Disney being like, this show ends right before Halloween. We need witches and zombies.
The Sanderson sisters bring the book back. Book, and then all the troopers.
Okay, Sabine and Ezra's fight with the Night Death Troopers reminds us of Rey and Kylo Ren's battle with the Praetorian Guards in Snoke's throne room. Even with the lightsaber catch and saber blade, like quick ignition through the head. So Sabine is Rey's dad. That's what we're saying, right?
Correct. Yep. Totally.
Must be it, right? Sorry, I need a bigger screen, guys. That might be or better eyes.
Nick, why don't you get a bigger screen?
Why don't I get bigger eyes? Is that how that works?
Cartoon eyes.
Big bubble style bifocals.
Yeah. Ezra and Sabine used the old Kanan and Ezra force boost jump move to get on the Star Destroyer. So again, if you haven't seen animation, that might be a little hokey, but hey, guess what? It was hokey in Rebels too.
They even called it. They called it out. Like,
Yeah.
what? That's not going to work. And he's like, no, Kanan and I do it all the time. It'll totally work. It's great.
I like this. I picked up on this as soon as it happened, so I was very proud of myself. But Ahsoka disarms Morgan of the Blade of Talzin in a similar fashion that she took Anakin's saber in their duel in The World Between Worlds. So
Dude.
kind of just this like, give me that.
Give me that.
Give me that.
I'm gonna eat the whole thing. We totally glossed over the fact that Ahsoka lost one of her sabers, got it cut in half.
Mm-hmm.
Did the last bit of the fight with just one.
Yep.
Dude, is she gonna dual wield with a sword
That was
now?
also sort of foreshadowed in that episode too. Anakin in The World Between Worlds knocked one of her sabers kind of off the side.
Density.
Yeah. You are my density.
Speaking of,
At the end of the battle with the reanimated night troopers, Sabine and Ahsoka jump off the ledge. The troopers are like, that's the noise that they were making. They walk up to the ledge to see what's up, and they rise up on Ahsoka's Jedi starship. Where have we seen that before? Back to the Future.
Nice.
part 2. Two McFlies with the same gun. Jumps off the ledge.
Do you feel like the zombie night troopers really needed to sound like zombies? I thought that was over the top. Could have done without that.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was
I
into
just
it.
see people being like, nah, just do it. Just do the zombie noises. It's fine.
Someone just breathe heavily.
Yeah.
D. Bradley Baker. How many zombie noises can you make?
Breathe heavily and gargle.
Ezra returns home and meets Hera in a stolen ship wearing a disguise, throws back to multiple disguise gags in Rebels for sure, but obviously a New Hope Death Star moments like Luke and Han, Chewie approaching Han and Leia on Endor in the AT-ST in Return of the Jedi, but it kind of was a reused gag in Rebels a lot. That definitely, I feel like episodes ago I think I mentioned Sabine getting on the ship with Thrawn and kind of getting disguised and saving Ezra, whatever, you know, like I just felt like the Rebel crew was always in disguise at some point, and it always worked.
Yeah, I mean, it was the thing right off the bat. Like whether it was a physical disguise or Ezra claiming that his name was Jabba the Hutt, you know, like they were always pulling some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Again, just like, you know, very Rebels writing, but the actors nailing it really made it all land.
Yep, absolutely.
Ezra still feels like a big teenager.
Yeah, for sure.
Like he disappeared when he was basically a teenager, and he's just been hanging out with like Lil Naughty and the crew, and he's surviving. But like, I mean, in regards to like maturation, like I mean, dude's still like, oh, you guys found me. Like this is great. Like what's going on? You know, like even just his whole like the sheepish like, hey Hera, like
Oh, dude, it was
felt
so
very,
good.
Yeah.
like teenager showed up, drunk to his own birthday party. Like, hey, mom. Yeah. Zach the Maker says, seemed like too much of a risk. Like they could have just blasted him. He was taking too long. But now, man, the Force is his ally. He would have seen that coming. But no, it's me. Look,
Yeah.
you guys about to shoot.
Hi, pal.
Yeah.
Finn's back.
Finn's back. Hey, baby Finn, little boy, baby boy. Last thing. This isn't like an actual den thing, but it just the vibes of the Noti in the cabin. The bridge with Hu Yang was such like an Ewoks in the cabin of the ATST with Chewie meets the Porgs in the Falcon with Chewie, like a perfect matchup.
Definitely,
of the two, with a little Grogu mixed in there.
Yeah, I definitely thought of the Porgs and Chewie.
Yeah,
because I guess that's recency bias, but yeah, definitely Ewoks and Chewie.
Love it.
All right, we made good time on that. So what do you say now?
I read fast like the Micro Machines guy.
Bring back the Micro Machines guy. Let's do this now.
I love you.
I know.
Favorite scenes, favorite quotes, favorite moments. Who would like to go first? Look at the lighting on Finn. I can't even. I literally have lost the ability to even.
I'm working on my lighting.
How are we not at 1,000 subscribers already just because of Finn?
Yeah. Look at that boy.
Like dogs of YouTube, get us going. Like tag
Say
us.
something, big boy.
What's happening? Oh yeah.
Oh, slurpy kiss.
Some ASMR.
All right,
Michael,
I'll go.
you go first.
Yeah, I could go. Yeah, I could do that. I generally, anytime we see new armor, I'm like, that's awesome. I think what I loved most about this season, because that's what we are talking about, right? Because the finale gives us a scope to look at the entire thing, is that Dave was incredibly true to the idea that Star Wars should be weird. The idea that Star Wars should be expansive beyond just the idea of like good and bad, even though at the end of the day, that boils down to, for him, George Lucas's mentality of you got the good guys and the bad guys, right? And I think really this gave people, I hope what it does is it gives a little bit of curiosity for people to consume all Star Wars media, that the curiosity of magic and reanimation and the story of how far back does Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship go. I would love to see more people get turned on to going into the back catalog of Star Wars because this show possibly piqued their interest enough to be able to see that. So really, I would say how true it was to Dave's vision of where he's developed Star Wars to this point. I think that's probably the biggest celebration of this show, is that they took some serious risks without giving a lot of exposition, and they didn't backtrack. I mean, we saw a couple flashbacks to probably the least popular, least well-received era of Star Wars film in Attack of the Clones. I really appreciate, I'm saying it, I appreciate whoever funded this at Disney to say, let the man do what he's going to do. Kathleen Kennedy, we see you. That's awesome. You trust Dave. That's so evident in the series. So I would say that's probably my favorite thing. Moment wise, I love seeing Mortis Gods, man. That keeps Star Wars weird. I loved that reveal because I saw Balin standing there and then they zoomed out and my mind was like, everyone's wigging out about Anakin Skywalker. That's fine. But like for me, seeing the Mortis Gods, I was like, dude, everything is on the table. Everything is in play. This is incredible.
Yes.
So I left. That was my takeaway. See, and you know what, too? The other thing, like seeing all three of them with lightsabers. Blue on one side, green on the other side, white in between. Awesome.
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful. Nick, how about you?
We forgot one little Easter eggy thing. I'm going to go back into the den real quick. Sabine said, I try. I do. She was backtracking on, Yoda's old quote.
Nailed it.
So, okay, I'm leaving the den. I'm back into I Love You, I Know Now.
Welcome back.
I mean, there you go, Finn. Mortis Gods. I can't. It's what, a 20-second scene. I can't get over that, and I won't.
20-second scene with no dialogue.
No dialogue. I love everything about it, and all I want to know is where that's heading. I love every single thing about that. The more I mention the word recast, I'm just putting that into the universe. We need Balen Skull to stick around.
Agreed.
Hopefully in the next 6 months I could figure out how to cosplay Balen Skull and then actually just play him.
You got it, dude.
I'm doing it. Everyone in the Discord chat was like, dude, how are you going to grow like 7 inches? Because apparently, I mean, he seems like a big guy.
He's
so
huge.
He's probably like 6'3"
Dude,
or 6'4".
He's a fridge, dude. He's a fridge.
It's called an apple box. Look it up.
Nice.
Someone,
Everybody's
sorry,
in that.
Apologies. Someone said, forced perspective. I'm like, yeah, basically I'll be a hobbit. Listen, I'm 5'9", all right? I'm not that short.
Forced perspective, capital F.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's so much to like, but in this episode, how wild is it that I wanted so much more from Balen, but the 20 seconds we got was just like, yeah, no, I'm good. That's the best I could have done. Seriously.
Yeah, my favorite, I mean, I could pick moments from the lightsaber duels going in the fortress, the temple, whatever you want to call it. It was so much like a classic, making your way up the castle tower kind of thing. Very swashbuckling.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
I agree.
The humor, like the timing was really good with, and the troopers reanimating, and I forgot which one of them said, "Have you seen that before?" And they're like, "Nope, definitely not." And then they bail. It was really fun. And then the final fight ending with Morgan's death, I thought was really, really good. Mm-hmm. It was, they did a lot of really balletic stuff, a lot of over choreographed stuff, like the prequel fans love. But then the death blow was very simple. You know what I mean? It was like strike, dead. That moment. So I thought that stuff was great. Sabine using the Force.
Sabine lightsaber and blaster. I'm like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
where's that,
man?
Yeah, right.
All that stuff was great, but I really think it was like the epilogue, if you want to call it that. The final montage of where everyone ended up. The highest point being, like you guys are saying, the Mortis God reveal, those monuments. It was just like the scale of the monuments matched the scale of the reaction, I think, from the people who get it.
Yeah.
But the quote, I said it last night at the top of my reaction from Thrawn, saying, "Rain hellfire upon them. There will be no negotiating with the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker." That was like a stand up out of my seat moment.
Yeah.
But in his very calm, rain hellfire upon them. You're like, oh.
And visibly rattled in that moment, multiple times, like, oh shit,
he's been burned,
and to hear
by Jedi.
And to hear himself say, I've only been bested by a Jedi once, right? But like, and then from there, in a very Thrawn way, he doesn't get like overly cocky. He's like, don't underestimate them. Like, I learned, like, that's what makes me good at military is like, that's what makes my strategy good, is that like, I learned, don't underestimate them. I'm like, that's dope. Probably didn't assume that all three of them had the Force.
Right.
I got to go back into the den for one more thing I just remembered. So I'm going back in.
Just turn off the lights when you're done.
We're back in.
I don't remember this being in live action, but it definitely was in Rebels when they were kind of swashbuckling their way up. They were slicing like the door panels to close them, which is very Rebels. I don't remember seeing that in live action anywhere else. Maybe a blaster in the original trilogy that I could think of.
Yep.
But very Rebels to just slash that thing and boom.
I like it.
Okay, leaving the den now.
You close the door.
Close.
Yep.
All right, that's it for the coverage. I would say next week we do a full series recap or season recap. Erase the part where I said series recap as if we're not going to get another season. Retract that. And we'll do a Patreon poll. So patrons will vote on their favorite episode. Maybe we'll throw some favorite quotes in there. We'll talk in the Discord chat and see what you all want to vote on. We'll do our bingo card results because we all got hits on this last episode. There's a clear winner. I won't say it now. It's not me. I'll say that. And we'll do some other fun stuff.
Someone? I know one person offhand who I think would be good to have on the show that has not watched animation and also loved this series, though.
Who?
My buddy Dean.
Oh.
He's familiar with him. He listens to the show.
Oh.
He I believe he has a podcast or two. So I think he might be good.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Well, look out for that next week. We'll be streaming probably on Tuesday because Nick is flying.
Mm-hmm.
Back to single episodes.
Basically.
Yes. Back to single episodes for now. We're talking about doing some other fun stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Patrons, thanks for being here with us, of course.
Can we do a last call? We have we will all be in New York next week for something very exciting. Actually, the whole weekend is like now starting to shape up to be incredible. Not that it wasn't going to be before, but now all of a sudden I feel like we're very busy.
Well,
we're getting there.
Tell them.
Roosevelt's crew is, we're going to be hanging with them a bunch. What do we got? Roosevelt's crew is having a pre-party. I don't remember if they released the info on exactly where it is.
That's not. I think that's just us.
No. There's a pre-party.
Oh,
there's an
Roosevelt's Insiders
public pre-party.
Party, yeah.
Roosevelt's party.
Insiders party.
Pretty close to where Mos Eisley is going to be.
That's at the Globe, right? The Globe.
Yes. Is that what it is?
Yes.
So I'm glad you remembered because I did not. Bad at promoting things, but Mos Eisley, we're starting to sell more and more tickets. If I could learn anything from the past three moshes, the first three moshes, with the exception of Anaheim, which sold out in like a week and a half or something. 2 or 3 people want to buy tickets every day, and then all of a sudden 30 people want to buy tickets, and then all of a sudden 100 people want to buy tickets, and then all of a sudden it's sold out. We're in the people 30 people a day are buying tickets, so
and that goes quick
on the fence,
with this size venue. So
right. So
get your
and
ticket.
definitely costume wise, we're going bring your scoundrel, bring your seedy underworld, bring your you don't have to bring full armor. Let's just see what you look like. Show up like you're planning on running a little have a death stick or two. Maybe you want to share
under the radar.
Yeah, maybe you want to share a little spice with someone, see where the night takes you. Bring that. Get scoundrelly.
That's the vibe.
Get seedy.
We may be able to do something at the Culture Fly booth. I'm still working on that, so maybe we could all get together and do a little meet and greet or something at the Culture Fly booth on Friday or Saturday. I'm working on that. That's news to you guys, but yeah.
Regardless, we will most likely be at the con one of the days. And if we don't see you there, we'll see you at Mos Eisley. MosEisley.com is the place you want to go if you want to get tickets. And that's about it for this week. Thank you, Dave, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are. Dave Filoni, big fan. Dudes, thanks for being here. Patrons, thanks for being here with us as well. And until next week, may the force be with you.